Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my channel. My name is Beyond. I hope you are well. If you are on my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon for further updates. Thank you. War teaches men to kill, but once in a while, it teaches them how to be human. The year was 1944. Europe was burning. Skies screamed with bombers, and every heartbeat was a countdown. Amidst that chaos, two soldiers, born to be enemies, met for the first and only time. And what happened next? Defied every rule of war. He was a young German soldier, barely 20. Exhausted, lost in the snow-covered Ardennes forest. His unit was gone. His rifle empty. His leg bleeding. He had killed men, and now waited to die. And on the other side, an American sergeant named Charles Brown. A man who had seen too much blood to believe in kindness anymore. He was hunting through the cold night, searching for survivors, when he saw movement among the trees. A shadow. An enemy. Don't move. He shouted, raising his gun. The German froze. His lips trembled, eyes pleading, but no words came out, only pain. For a moment, everything was silent. Only the sound of falling snow between them, as if the world itself was holding its breath in that moment. Charles could have pulled the trigger. Every soldier's training demanded it, but something stopped him. Whoa, Kedahai. Main Nioski, Ankan, Main Dushmani Nahi Deki, Busik Insan Tha. Jozinda Renachata Tha. Charles lowered his rifle. He stepped closer, and for the first time the German whispered bit. Nick Chegan, please. Don't shoot. And just like that, war lost its meaning. He carried the wounded man on his shoulder through miles of frozen land. No flag, no uniform, no orders, just a heartbeat carrying another heartbeat. Whoa. Kedahai. Mujnahi patatha. Ya mera dushman. Hi yabai. Busit na patatha. Agar may naisi churdu may nansan nahi ruhanga. They reached a small cabin hidden among the trees. There, in the middle of the war, an American soldier treated the wounds of his enemy. He used his own bandages. He shared his bread. He even lit a small fire, knowing the smoke might give away their position. Outside, war still raged. Inside, two men sat silently, one German, one American, staring at the same flame, realizing how alike they were. Endono ni kachnahi kaha, likinunki kamoshi, main pori dunya kichiki hain, thi. Whoa, kamoshi. Joseph Jang Lashukti Hai, the German soldier whose name was Franz, told Charles, I was told you Americans had no hearts. Charles smiled faintly. And I was told Germans had no souls. They both laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was the only thing left to do when the world goes mad. For 2 nights, Charles hid Franz in that cabin. He shared his rations. He risked his life every second. But as dawn came, the sounds of tanks echoed closer. The front was shifting again. It was time to let go. Charles knew if his men found Franz, they'd kill him instantly. Franz knew if the German patrol found Charles, he'd be executed as a traitor. They both stood at the doorway, 2 soldiers from opposite sides of the same nightmare. Charles handed Franz a compass and said, This point's home. Don't die before you get there. Franz took it with trembling hands and whispered, When ich lieb, word ich dich eins tags Vetterseien. If I live, I'll see you again someday. Wo dono, chup kure rehi. Gs waqt ruke aho. Koi dushmani nahi thiab, surf du insan. Ek kahani kadu sarai. Years passed. The war ended. Nations celebrated peace, but for Charles, peace never came. He couldn't forget that night in the forest, or the man he saved but never saw again. Every winter, he'd look at the snow outside his window and remember those eyes, scared, but alive. Zakum, Bargay, Leakin, Yadin, Kabi Nahi. Whoa, Kedahai. Main Ni, Jangjidi Thi, Par Apna, Sukon Har, Gaya Tha. 40 years later, minus 1987. A veterans gathering in Germany. Charles, now an old man, attended reluctantly. He sat quietly, watching people shake hands, exchange medals. He had none. He had only one story, one night of compassion that no one believed, until a man approached him tall, gray-haired, holding an old compass. "Sir," he said softly, "does this belong to you?" Charles froze. The compass was scratched, old but unmistakable. Tears filled his eyes. It was him. Franz, they stood there in silence, two ghosts from the past, live against all odds. Franz said, "I kept this compass for 40 years. To find the man who reminded me I was human." Charles replied, "And I've waited 40 years to know you made it home." Wo Dono Gal Lagkar Rodai. Na German, na American, surf du insan. Jojang Kapagopan Main, Insaniyat Dund. Pay, their story spread quietly across Europe. No military record mentioned it. No medals were awarded. But their meeting became a whisper of hope in a world that had almost forgotten what mercy looked like. Wo Ket Hain. History remembers the wars we fought, but not the hearts we saved. And maybe that's why Beyond the Pages exists, to remind the world that humanity is not a side in war. It is the only thing worth fighting for. People often ask what makes a hero. Is it the man who wins battles? Or the man who chooses not to fight when he could? Charles and Franz were both soldiers. But that night, it became something far greater. Two men who proved that the line between enemy and brother is drawn only by fear, not by fate. Jangen San, Kota Dedi Hai, Likin Kuchlog. Whoa, Jonkiander B, Insan Bene, Redhain. Maybe that's the real victory. To stay human when the world demands you stop being one. Years later, when Charles died, his family found that same compass beside his bed, still pointing north, still pointing home, and carved on its back were words he'd added himself, to my enemy, who became my reason to believe. Kuch Kahanyan Katam Nahi Hoti. Whoa, surf Hawan Main Gunshti Ready Hain. Yabi Un He Mainze. Ek Kahani Hai. Ek AC Kahani Jahan. Dushman Dust Bangaya. Or Jang Ni Insanya. Ko Zindarakel. IYA. Because sometimes the bravest thing a soldier can do is not to pull the trigger, but to hold out a hand. That hand changed history, not in books, but beyond the pages.